No, I just spent like one night at work just listening to all these YouTube videos of these feminist cringe compilations, and they were just
Well,
hilarious.
see, the problem is feminism really isn't like feminism. Ideally, isn't that bad. It's just people take it and make it whatever they want it to be. Because they're talking about equal rights to certain things. Like before, it was equal rights for the same job. You know what I'm saying? Because they wouldn't get the same pay.
You gonna speak into the mic, Art?
Well, this is no. I thought we were just talking.
Oh,
this
okay.
Is just banter. Like, I'm sorry. All right.
I didn't
Well,
know.
let
I
me
thought
go
we
ahead.
were recorded.
Well, we are recording, but you know this. We do our thing. Jay's still hitting his vape. I'm still hitting mine, but okay.
I hit my vape
Hit
the
this
whole time.
again,
I don't
man.
give a fuck.
Hit
That's
this
right,
again.
S. Rippy. I hit my vape the whole time.
That's right, S. Rippy. Sorry, let me pick that name up that I dropped. Let me mark that.
You don't have any anything nefarious in your basement, do you? Like that we should know about that we might be accomplices to?
Why would you want to know? No! Don't answer that.
I
Don't answer that.
have tons of nefarious things in my
Holy
basement.
Fuck, Jay, you just made us an accomplice.
No,
And they all
trying
have
to
your
save
name
us
on
right
them.
now is what I'm trying to do, asshole. Like we need to be able to to have a clear-cut alibi.
To be completely
Nah, I've
honest
been
with you,
collecting
Double D, I
fingernail
would help
clippings and hair follicles throughout the
him.
entire
so
time.
Would you help him hide the body?
Well, of course, he's my friend.
I would help too.
Thanks,
Double D,
buddy.
Would you help hide the body? Honestly.
Who, Jay's body?
No, would you?
Why'd you kill him, man?
Help one of us hide the body.
Yeah, sure.
I don't.
This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now.
No filter.
No filter.
No filter.
No filter.
Welcome to No Filter.
The No Filter,
No filter.
The No Filter Podcast, which is
an EMP network production.
in this show you'll encounter nothing but
Straight talk. No PC.
No PC
No PC consistency
Please note that the
opinions from the host.
are not a reflection of the EMP network. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening.
Thanks for listening,
Thanks for opening up your ears and your minds.
and we hope you like this one.
That was believable.
That wasn't very matter of fact. I
else
guess
do I
so if
got
I wasn't
going on?
doing anything on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
No, but like the idea of feminism is a good idea, but then again, the idea of communism is a good idea.
On paper,
Whoa.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. On paper, you hear Double D trying to
Easy.
bury me. Whoa,
That's
hey,
a
relax.
mischaracterization.
No, but they on paper they're good ideas. Feminism, they were fighting for their right to vote. They were fighting for equal rights.
Yeah,
they were
first
fighting
wave
for a whole
feminism.
bunch of things. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But now it's just it's kind of like being woke. It's taken so far out of context. I don't think it's ever going to get back to how it was.
What is? Explain to me what being woke is, please.
All right, so
I think we touched on that, didn't we?
Did we?
the concept of being I think we did. The concept of being woke is
Because I think it's something that people always talk about, but nobody ever's like,
it's
the fuck does that mean?
well, we'll use the black community since that's something that I can really speak on. The concept of being woke is not falling for the tricks that are put out there to restrict or hold us down. You get what I'm saying? Like, instead of getting $100,000 and spending it on a vehicle or jewelry or something like that, you take that money and you invest in that money and you make your own business and you support other black businesses and you just support you help your community and different things like that. Now that's woke. That's what we need to do, what we should do. You get what I'm saying? But now being woke is somebody saying that they think that I'm trying to think of a controversial thing that's obviously wrong. Tommy Lauren, for example. Somebody saying that Tommy Lauren may have a point with black people actually being able to get loans now and they need to take that. But if you listen to something that Tommy Lauren says, you're not you're not woke. Because even though that is a good point, and we should get loans now, and we should take advantage of the situation that we're in now, you know, versus like, what was it, the 80s, where we couldn't do these things. Since somebody that is blatantly, I don't want to say against us, but blatantly, like purposefully ignorant to the oppression, purposefully ignorant to the oppression, is saying these things. If you listen to that one thing and say, maybe that's a point, maybe that's a good point, instead of just dismissing what she says regardless, you're not woke.
I think being woke nowadays presupposes a conspiracy. Like that there's always somebody out there that is trying to put you down or hinder you from your own personal development, from being acute to what is really going on in the world.
Where the fuck were you earlier when I was sitting here struggling with this damn definition?
I was letting you go on, man. It's your show. You gotta throw it out.
This dick.
So, speaking of conspiracy theories,
Oh, here we go. I guess I know where this is leading to.
Did you see how he looked at me and put that smile on his fucking face?
No, I did not
no,
see that.
it's just funny that we fell into this because before the show, I threw that out there to Remorseless as a possible topic, and he's like, "I don't know nothing about that. You and Jay Bell can discuss that because."
No, but continue with what else I said.
I can't remember what you said.
Because I basically said that's white people shit. I was like, you
Oh,
and Jay
yeah,
Bell
yeah.
can do that, and me and Art can talk about hip hop.
Yeah, that's right. What's your favorite conspiracy theory?
Mine?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, dude. There's so many of them.
Let's say this. Which one do you think could actually be true? And then which one do you think is like so ridiculous but you can't help but love it?
I don't think that I have one that I really 100% could say that I think is true. I think there are elements of certain ones that are fairly plausible, but I don't think that there is one that really jumps out and grabs my attention to say like, wow, yeah, fuck. Well, I guess I don't know.
Like I think like for me it'd be like the JFK assassination.
I was gonna say Kennedy because there are some really plausible pieces to that.
Also, Robert Kennedy, his assassination too. I don't know if you know much about that, but Sirhan.
Were you guys
Sirhan,
alive during
Sirhan.
those times?
Sirhan.
Kennedy was 60s, right? 64?
63.
He was
63?
shot in 63.
When was Robert?
68,
Like a year
I
later,
believe.
right?
67.
67.
67,
Really?
okay.
No, you guys weren't alive then. You Double D, you're 78. J Bell, you're 70.
You're way off on all your numbers, man. Just sit
No,
back
you were
from
born
the
in
microphone.
1978, right?
81.
I was born in.
Holy shit!
I was born in 80.
So
wanna
that
know
is a
something
far cry
funny?
from 67.
You want to know something funny? I have two brothers with the exact same years that you guys were born.
Well, see that? There you go.
He just asked if he was like, no, you guys weren't. He actually pondered whether we were alive during the Kennedys in the 60s. This
Because
motherfucker.
he's not a student of history.
I am not. That's
So-
a fact.
Yeah, so Sirhan was the claims he's still in jail for the assassination today, and still to this day asserts that he was hypnotized, a la Manchurian Candidate style, into committing this assassination.
You're
And that
talking
he has-
about something that could lead us to MK Ultra.
Yes, quite possibly.
All right. Before we continue this, how do you guys believe in hypnosis?
I've studied hypnosis over the last couple of years
Jesus.
because of my interest in
He hates
magic.
feminists and he studied hypnosis.
He's trying to hypnotize all of the feminists to shut the fuck up.
Moving past all that, it's because of I recommended Darren Brown's special on one of the previous podcasts. I started watching some of his stage shows a few years ago, and he uses hypnosis and subliminal messages to influence people during his magic shows. And so that really got me into it. And so I bought a few books on hypnosis. And it's not what people think it is. It's not some magic trance that you just go into by saying a few words. It's actually a very complex thing where it's like, it's not whether it's real or whether it's true or not. It's just a state of mind where you can be influenced. And like if you take like stage hypnosis, right? So a magician brings people up on stage and they, hypnotize them to think that there's their feet are stuck to the floor or whatnot. Some of those people were probably playing along, right? And some of them, I was kind of playing along, but I mean, what are you going to do when you're up on stage? What are you going to do? Call bullshit on the performer and like embarrass this guy who's putting on a show, and there's hundreds of people in the audience, and you're just like
Yes.
gonna stop the show and call bullshit?
Yes.
That's not what most people were gonna do. In a situation like that where you're on stage, like you take the normal person, you put them up on stage in front of hundreds of people, they're most likely going to comply with what somebody's telling them to do, right? Because there's that pressure of, oh, I got to do something and I better do it right.
Well, it's not even the pressure. It just seems like that's being considerate. Like that's
a part
that
of it.
guy's livelihood. Like he's
Yeah.
making money from that. Now, I don't see me getting on stage and calling you a fake. Like now
Maybe after
the show,
the performance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. After the show, we'll talk.
Yeah.
But I don't you're trying to make a living just like I am.
So that's a part of it, and another part is, like I said, social compliance. We don't want to stand out. We naturally don't want to do something different. We want to be part of the crowd.
Yeah, it's like
people's tendency for conformity.
Exactly.
Like,
It's exactly
yeah, it's
what
like
it is.
a guy proposing to a woman in the middle of Times Square. Like, what's the chances of her actually saying no?
That's
Right.
a very good analogy, actually. I don't
And-
believe in hypnosis in the traditional sense. I don't think. I do believe in the power of persuasion, though.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yeah.
mean, that's about as far as I'll go with that, because I don't know. I don't know enough about how. I mean, I know enough about how the brain works, but I don't know enough about how the brain would work in conjunction with someone forcibly putting someone into a catatonic state to persuade them.
But see, that's the thing. It's not a catatonic state.
But-
that's
but-
what the perception is.
But that's,
so it
not
gets
what, that's not what traditional hypnosis is. Like when you get into the hypnotic state, especially when you're talking in terms of like therapeutic value, it's in a catatonic state to relieve all type of real world stimulation to get to the root cause of problems.
I'm not sure of that, Jay, and the reason why is because I listen to I have OCD and different things like that, so I listen to meditation hypnosis in order to I don't go to sleep. I suffer from night terrors, and I listen to meditation hypnosis in order for me to be able to go to sleep, and like I'll wake up and I'll turn it back on and different things like that. And it's not necessarily putting me in a catatonic state. It's more of just like it gives me they're guided meditations. So they give me a way or a direction that I can go in order to clear my head, so that way I can go back to sleep.
Well,
Yeah, so
therapeutic hypnosis is not that. Therapeutic hypnosis, what these people are doing is to get people to that
okay.
point.
Okay.
Yeah, you're talking about like in a clinical setting.
Yes.
Jay. Yeah. So it gets to the point where it's like, what's the difference? So if you ask the question, is hypnosis real? I think is not really a valid question to ask, because whether you're playing along or whether it's just social compliance or whatever, it's the same thing.
Well, I've met a few people that were hypnotized and like they stopped smoking. I met someone that was hypnotized and they started losing weight, like they lost their regular appetite and different things like that. So, and I don't know if it was just because they were looking for a way to do this and this helped them, but even if it did, I mean, even if that's the standpoint, that means hypnosis worked.
It could also be the placebo effect.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. That's still a form, like.
It gets to the point, what's the difference? If it works, it works.
Exactly.
So hypnosis it's a very, very intertwining thing with other things, and it's very complicated. But at the end of the day, if it works, it works.
I can agree with that.
So bringing it back around to Sirhan, that's kind of the extreme. Like that's what you were getting at, Jay. Like with the clinical trance-like state.
It's hypnotherapy.
Can I don't know. What do you think about that whole thing?
Like I said, I don't know. I know that there's been a lot of research done on it. I personally don't know enough about hypnotherapy to say it. But what it is, I mean, using the term trance is exactly what is intended with hypnotherapy. It gets you to a different level of consciousness so that you can explore things. And that's where the power of suggestion is thought to come in. So if you can get to that state of like conscious freedom, I guess would be a way to describe it, where you're not cluttered with everyday mundane things. The power of suggestion is supposed to be very likely in that state. I just don't know. And like the CIA has been working with this type of stuff for a long time. The NSA has been working with stuff like this for a long time. The FBI, like all kinds of stuff.
So people are highly suggestible too in a state of shock or terror. So in an event where something happens, people can be easily led, right? If somebody gives you a direct command, like in a scenario where there's a shooting or a fire, and your adrenaline starts pumping and you have no idea what to do, you're freezing, somebody gives you a command, you're most likely going to listen to them.
Well, there's three different types of people. There's fight, flight, and freeze. That's that response, what you're talking about. But there's the people that are those that will take initiative to solve their problem that's presented to them right in front of their face, or there's those that will conform to the problem or to whoever's leading at that point in time.
Yeah.
Right. So some people are more suggestible than others.
Yes.
So that's like if you wake somebody up, like somebody's in a dead sleep, and you just go into the room and you just wake them up by shaking them, and you start screaming and be like, "You look here, take this cantaloupe, and you have to go run downstairs right now." If you're just waking up, you can be
they
like...
will take that cantaloupe and run
they'll
downstairs.
run downstairs. They're not going to stop and question.
I've done that to my kids a couple of times.
It's hilarious,
I've
but
done it
it's
to my kids
crazy
a couple of times. I've woke my kids up like, "Hey, get up, get dressed for school," and it was a Saturday. Like, just...
So it's kind of like almost hacking the human brain, right? So if you can get into a certain frame of mind and you just insert a command or a suggestion, they will most likely follow it.
Yeah.
That's just crazy.
So
Yeah,
tie
and
that
like
into Sirhan.
So that I don't think would be that was not a what's called a snap induction. That's what we were just talking about. Snap induction is where you instantly get someone into that state. Sirhan would be more of the what you were talking about, sitting down, probably several sessions of like training him, so to speak. And I don't know a lot more about the theory as to who it was. Maybe it was the CIA that was supposedly doing this, but that's something that probably would have taken place over like months, if not years, of training and sessions and whatnot.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's a scary proposition, man. And if accurate, that is that no one is safe if we're capable of doing things like that. And I don't. I mean, I don't even know what really to say about that. That's look, but I mean, like, here's where, like, in your scenario, we were talking about Bobby Kennedy and then John F. Kennedy. Like, there is what makes it plausible is the current climate that they were in at the time. Like, Kennedy, there was a big push from a lot of people that wanted to get involved in Vietnam earlier in the 60s. Number one, because they wanted to thwart the spread of communism, and Kennedy was not a part of that. Kennedy didn't want anything to do with it, though he did secretly give aid to South Vietnam to fight the North Vietnamese, but he did not want to put a traditional set of troops on the ground. Like, he didn't want the boots on the ground, whereas somebody like his vice president, Lyndon Johnson, really did. And Bobby Kennedy, his brother, shared the same sentiment that John did about staying out of Southeast Asia. And at the time Bobby Kennedy was killed, it was election time again, and he was running on a platform where he was extremely opposed to the war in Vietnam, and the powers that be, couldn't have that. Theoretically speaking, from a conspiracy standpoint. So, like, you can make plausible pathways into, like, getting down that rabbit hole. The one that I guess I entertained it initially just because it piques your interest. The one that I really can't see, though, is the 9/11 conspiracy.
Hold on. Well, before we move to that, I don't want to get off this this hypnosis thing. So with hypnosis, how we were talking about the placebo effect and different things like that. I remember, I think I was talking to you I think I was talking to you one day, Jay, when I was talking about when I went to my therapist and I ended up she ended up suggesting me being hypnotized in order to remember something from like a complete day from my childhood or something like that, and it didn't work. Remember that?
Yeah, I do.
And the reason why is because only 10 to 15% of people in general can be hypnotized.
Yeah, you have to, like, they call them willing participants. So, like, you have to be, like, down to do it, basically. Like, you can't go in like, okay, well, they said I should get hypnotized. You can't be a doubter. You really have to buy into it.
Exactly. They have to be gullible, so to speak. Like,
suggestible.
There are some people, like, impressionable. That's what
there you go.
There are some people that, like, if you say something to them, no matter what it is, they're like, really? It has to be one of those type of people, and it's fucked up because you can even put up a shield to show that you're not that person, but if you are that person deep down, you can be hypnotized.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I would agree with that.
But continue. I just wanted to make that point because I really like hypnosis. I really like. I was going to say putting an impression on the mind, but I knew you guys were going to eat me up about that. But
I'll put an impression on your mind. It's called a mushroom stamp.
Yeah, so it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
So
the mushroom stamp or the hypnosis?
Both. Yes. Equally. So, so you were about to say about 9/11.
Yeah, 9/11 conspiracy.
I just don't, there's a couple different documentaries that are out there that lay out really good arguments for it. There's one thing that I can't get over, like how you could purposefully sacrifice almost 3,000 people for that type of gain. One, and then, like, no one up until this point, like, it's not a bigger story than what it is.
You have to elaborate a little more. You're kind of being vague.
Well, I'm also fishing too to see how much you guys know about it.
I know. I don't know shit about conspiracy theory. So, Double D, go ahead and throw it in. Pause.
Pause.
It's a tricky one, right? 9/11
You should see
is
his
so...
face right now. Like Double D is this is like his wheelhouse. He's excited right now.
Well, there was a point in time in my life where I was really into conspiracy theories.
So here's a question before you continue with the 9/11. Why? Like what is all of this information going to do for you?
It's intriguing. It's
Okay.
It's to me, it is about like there's something more to life.
Okay.
Because I mean, day to day is fucking boring as hell. So if there is actually something that you going on that you see about or read about, like in movies or in books, it's like, oh, this is kind of actually interesting.
Jay, what is your psychology degree in?
What do you mean?
You have
Never finished it. Remember that, Frank. Never
Oh
finished it.
yeah, because the
My
reason why I was
study,
asking.
my study is abnormal psychology,
Okay, and mine is
and
behavioral
criminal justice. So
Oh, okay. Mine is behavioral BS bullshit studies, behavioral studies.
Yeah.
And the reason why I was mentioning that is because I don't recommend behavioral study psychology. All they do is show you how to profile people, show you how to read handwriting, and just pick up auras. Like it's a whole bunch of bullshit. And the reason why I asked you about that is because that's one of the reasons why I enjoy people watching. Like what you were saying, to break the monotony, like you like people watch and different things like that. And if you go further in psychology, the exciting part about meeting people it may be because, like you said, everything isn't for everybody. I'm a people person. And I think I'm a people person because like I like reading people. You get what I'm saying? And what you do with like conspiracy theories and stuff, I think I do the same thing with like reading people. You look more into it because that's the exciting part about it, right?
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of get like if you're like going to your day-to-day work, it's just like boring work, come home, boring, go to work, boring, and then it's like, oh, is there maybe Bigfoot in the government?
Idle hands do the devil's work.
I don't know what that has to do with anything.
I mean, if you're bored, you're going to find something to do.
I guess. I mean, it's entertaining, is all. I never really did a deep.
Well, we're gonna dive
analysis.
deep
It's just
into
fun
you,
to think.
Double D. We're diving deep into you.
pause.
I think it's
No.
I think it's more fun to do a deep dive on the actual conspiracies, not why somebody likes conspiracy theories.
And now that's intriguing to me. Why people like things like this? You
It
get
could
what I'm
be,
saying?
yeah.
Like why people ask questions that nobody, or why people look for answers to questions nobody asks. Like that's intriguing to me to understand the people's train of thoughts. That's why I was asking you. But continue about your conspiracy.
Well, to me, that's the buck stops it. I find it interesting. So
There's always more, though. There's always more.
Have-nots have always, traditionally throughout history, have-nots have always been fascinated with the link between corruption and power.
oh, absolutely, yeah, and that kind of breeds conspiracy theories, right? From the people who are not in on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
If
kind of
you're
like you get
looking
your
for something, you're always going to be able to find some sort of loose association to fit your narrative.
absolutely.
Absolutely. It's just like hearing something, like it's just like getting into an argument about something and then looking it up online. You can definitely find what you're looking for. Like you can find an article that proves your point, but you can also find an article that proves the opposite. But you're not going to look for the article that proves the opposite because it's not going to help your narrative.
Or with the way technology is nowadays, depending on what your search algorithm is.
What are you
gonna
eating?
Be pizza. You're going to be presented with information that fits your personality searches.
Yes. I actually have to shuffle my my Google search now. It's starting to get really heavily political. And that shit is so annoying.
The 9/11 conspiracy was based off of the fact that people thought that George Bush Jr. was a fucking idiot. I mean, let's not make a
Bond,
mistake there.
James Bond Jr.
So, but he was basically a puppet leader controlled by large corporations, and essentially his handler was his vice president, Dick Cheney. And they conspired to create this great big thing. They knew that 9/11 was going to happen. People were going to get attacked. And they just let it happen. And they also were instrumental in kind of making it a bigger deal than what it is. Because they're talking about how, like, the I-beams in the World Trade Center, how they burnt and melted and the buildings fell down and stuff like that. And there was a link that, like, there was no way that jet fuel could have burned hot enough, or it could have exploded to the point where the I-beams melted at 45-degree angles that were enough to drop it straight down.
Remember, that's when that thing came out, can jet fuel burn steel beams?
Right.
Right, yeah. Also with the Tower 7 that was not hit,
right,
just completely just collapsed.
That's, wow.
Jet fuel on its own cannot burn steel. However, everything else that was in that building associated it as being fuel could burn steel.
Huh. So I'm not sure. Like I said, I have no horse in this race. I know nothing about conspiracy theories. So I'm just listening to what you guys are talking about.
The one that I like, it can be fun. Like I said, it can be fun to entertain, although it definitely goes too far. One that I absolutely will not entertain at all, 100%, is the Sandy Hook conspiracy. That right there.
That's a crock of shit.
That is a crock of shit, and I hate that.
You guys aren't going to keep fucking doing this. Why? I hate
what?
you guys. I hate you. You know that I know nothing about conspiracies, and then you just keep throwing. You literally just said I am not going.
Sorry.
You shouldn't even have brought it up,
Dude, I'm sorry. I thought that you would have some at least general knowledge.
You shouldn't have brought it up at
You
all.
have heard of Sandy Hook, yes?
Yes, Dylan Roof. Yes, right.
No, I
church?
don't think that was Dylan Root. No.
No, Sandy Hook was the school in Connecticut.
Oh yeah. All right.
The dude took the AK-47,
Yeah,
shot his
AK,
mom, and
yeah.
then went to the school and shot all those kids.
And shot up. Yeah.
Yeah, so I just people saying that was fake and whatnot, and there's a big camp trying to deny that and saying that it was a false flag operation by the government. I just think it's complete bullshit. Anytime you talk about children like that, is just absolutely horrendous.
Wow. Hold on. People think that that's fake?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So
How?
moving. I don't want to give credence to try
All right, yeah, fuck them.
legitimize
Go
it.
ahead.
So a more entertaining one is the moon landing.
Oh my gosh.
How do you feel about that, Jay?
What?
The moon landing?
Oh.
Hold on,
I
let's
don't
explain
know,
this.
man.
Let's explain this for remorseless.
Go ahead.
So
Go
in
ahead.
1969,
Hold on.
Explain it to him while I'm
hold on.
finishing this last piece of
You're not
pizza.
going to be that person. I'm not going to allow you to be that person.
okay, dude, I'm damned if I do. I'm damned if I don't.
Yes, you are. You're just one damn person.
All right.
Go ahead.
So you do know the conspiracy?
Absolutely not. You need to explain it to me.
Oh, Jesus. So some people think that we never actually went to the moon in 1969, that it was all faked.
Hello, everybody. This is Alexander Ovechkin, greatest Russian hockey players of all times. When I'm not scoring goals or tearing down a great imperialistic American devil, I'm listening to No Filter. It's a great show. Please take time to connect with these American dogs on their social media outlets. You can find them on Twitter at network_EMP, Instagram EMP Network 412, and Facebook EMP Network. If you do not listen to my advice, you will feel the full wrath of Mother Russia. Do svidaniya, comrades.
On a Hollywood set by Stanley Kubrick, who made this film that made it look like we actually landed on the moon. And, with the Cold War going on, and the conspiracy says that we didn't actually have the technology yet to go to the moon, but we needed to beat the Russians, right? We're always trying to beat the Russians. So they had already sent a man into space. We wanted to be the first country to land a man on the moon. So in order to make that, to be first, right, we didn't have the technology, so we just faked it, is the conspiracy theory.
I heard about that.
Well, I should think so. You've heard of the moon.
So
What does this moon speak of?
I'm gonna fucking murder both of you. You heard it here first. But okay, so that's the conspiracy. So what's the big deal? Do you think so? Are you saying do you think that's true?
I didn't say one way or the other. I was just explaining.
No,
the
you're not going to
theory
sit here and
you.
you're not going to walk me out to this cliff and then say, "Hey, you can jump if you
I'll
want
fucking push you right off that goddamn cliff.
So I don't know. I don't like. So do they have like valid information or a firm argument for this?
People who, when I say people, I mean not like
What? Not real
experts.
human beings?
not experts, but just people analyze the film and the footage and saying, "Oh, this person, they're on strings, they're bouncing weird."
Well, yeah, they're on a string. They have to be.
Flags are flying when they shouldn't be because there's no wind on the moon. Shit
Right,
like that.
right.
They've never been to the moon though. They don't know if there's wind or not.
Well,
Well,
apparently
there's-
we've never been to the moon either. So
Like, okay, so I don't know. Like you can't, but these are things that you can't disprove. Is that why they're conspiracy theories? Because you can't really prove or disprove them?
yeah, I mean,
I guess so. It's just the contrary to the popular opinion
Okay.
is a conspiracy theory.
All right, so so the contrary to a popular opinion is a conspiracy theory. Is that always what a conspiracy theory
Yeah,
is?
that was kind of a loose definition, but
No, I don't know this. You're looking at me like I should know these things.
I don't know how else to explain it to you, man. I've never had to explain a conspiracy theory to someone before. I'm sorry, I'm fumbling here. I'm
I
kind
still
of
think it's people's
gobsmacked.
fundamental desire to make the link between power and corruption. For whatever reason. But here's a
So what you're saying is all that's
60,000 foot view for you. Okay, let's just from this world view looking down on it. Let's assume that all conspiracies are real. All right?
okay.
Do you really want to know that kind of truth?
Do you mean a population or like just
Whatever.
as individuals?
You can take it from a societal perspective, or you can take it from an individual perspective.
I'll take it
If
from
we
both.
assume
Pause.
that I know you will. If we assume just for a second that all conspiracies are legitimate, would you yourself, or would we as a group of people, really want to know that kind of truth?
All right, so I would want to know that kind of truth.
Why?
And the reason why I would want to know that kind of truth is because you want to get to know the devil closest to you. Like we are in this government. Like for example, if they actually did pay somebody to get JFK killed and it wasn't the person that they said did it, or if like just little things like that, you would want to know these things because you want to know how, like, you would be able to take care of yourself better knowing these things.
Okay, but then you get into the realm of, then you assume everything else is false, and then you can never have a true state of like an evenality to everything, because if they've lied, everything that we know up until this point has been a lie. Why is there a reason to believe that everything coming after this is going to be legitimate?
See, now
Just
this
because
is where,
we found it out.
Now this is where the different walks of life come from, because when I was raised to never ever listen to what somebody's saying, figure it out yourself, find it out yourself. And the reason why is because it could have been a difference between life or death, or being hurt and being not hurt. So like I was already grown. I was raised in survival mode. You get what I'm saying? I was raised in I was raised in that survival. So
Yeah, but everybody's
that's not
in survival
anything,
mode. That's just what we do as human beings. The
Yeah, but
elements
what
of
I'm
the
saying is
survival
that's
are
not
different
anything
depending
new.
on the community that you live in. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
is that the kind of truth that we as a world of people really want to know.
Yeah, see, but I didn't get there yet. We're talking. I'm talking from an individual standpoint because you said individual or world, and I said, all right, well, I'll go from both. Pause. But yeah, so like I would want to know that. Yes, I would want to know. Now, as a society, it's like finding out that everything you've known is completely flipped upside down. A lot of people can't handle that. It's like finding out if aliens are really real. A lot of people would not be able to handle an alien being real. A lot of people would not. You get what I'm saying?
Week.
This fucking guy in this Roswell shit.
Do tell.
But a lot of
going there
but
this week.
I don't think society would be able to would be able to handle it. So no, society I don't think should know these things. These conspiracy theories and these assholes that are coming up with them and different things like that. And it's cool for other people to believe them and read them because honestly, I think besides the weirdos that wear tinfoil hats, I don't think people 100% believe them. Like, there's always that doubt, okay, well, this can be true. They have a really good argument. Versus, this is ironclad, right? So, I think that mystery of it not being true really keeps people at bay. I don't think society would be able to handle the contrary.
Right. I think the truth in scenarios like this is inconsequential. I think the effect that it has on society as a whole is far more detrimental
Absolutely.
than actually seeking the truth.
Double D?
Yeah, I agree. As a society, well, maybe as an individual too, it's kind of like sometimes ignorance is bliss.
I agree with that. Ignorance is bliss sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it's sometimes easier. Like, I was just talking to somebody about this, I think yesterday or so, but I have a tendency to overanalyze things and try.
That was on the podcast, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, somebody else too.
Okay.
In a different scenario, but just trying to get to the root of everything and analyzing why they do this and this person's intentions and that and what's the meaning. Is there a reason for all this? And it just put myself through hell sometimes trying to figure out the answer. Whenever I wish sometimes that I could just, like, so to speak, shut them off, dumb myself down a little bit and just, like, go with the flow and be like, I don't really care, or not even think to look for the answer.
Right, but that's the struggle itself, my friend. That's what you're talking about. That's the thing that you should be focusing on, as opposed to the shutting off. You should be focusing on, why do I struggle with wanting to shut it off, knowing that I can't shut it off? Why not just accept it and give yourself some peace?
Well, the reason why you don't accept it, and this is coming from an OCD standpoint, the reason why you don't accept it is because it's consuming. It's taking a large portion of your brain power when you can be applying it somewhere else, and it can become an issue.
Well, like, I think, like, for me,
What do you mean to what specifically
To what end? You said apply that brain power somewhere else. I said, to what end?
Well, you
what
can
do
apply
you need
it
to apply that brain power for?
Well, you can. You want to go, or you go ahead?
I think if I think this would tie into that, and this might be.
Hold on here, let me before you get into your thing here. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that I agree or disagree with either of your positions.
No,
I'm just challenging. I'm just challenging for the sake of conversation.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think if I personalize that, and I think previous relationships that I've had in the past, I spent so much time and energy trying to analyze the person that I was with, when I could have, my time and energy and the relationship would have been a lot better off if I would not have done that and just be like, you know what, it's fine, just go with it, just love this person instead of trying to treat them as a patient.
Okay, so but
did you struggle with
analogy? That was a very good analogy. But to push back on that again, did you struggle knowing that that's what you were doing?
Yes.
Like, did you struggle? That's your fight. Like, I know that I'm overanalyzing this. I know that I want to or probably should stop this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it would get to a meta point. Like I would analyze, and then I would analyze why am I analyzing this, and then it would just keep getting more meta and more meta to the point where I could be enjoying this relationship and enjoying this person.
But you can't because you're too busy analyzing everything that's going on instead of just enjoying what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so
makes
why
sense.
why not cut that toxic piece out? Accept what you are and how your brain functions, knowing that, being able to say, okay, well, here's what this is. I'm overanalyzing this stuff. This is what I do.
Because that doesn't stop the obsession. Like knowing
No, I'm not saying to get rid of the obsession. I'm
Okay,
saying
so what are you saying?
embrace the obsession, knowing that that's what you do. Coming to the truth that, okay, I obsess over this. Okay? It gives a whole different level of freedom, knowing that, okay, say, I have to touch the doorknob 5 times before I leave the house. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Sweet. I touch the door 5 times before I leave the house. It's part of my routine now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And instead of sweating the fact like, wow, I'm so fucked up, I have to
Yeah.
touch the door 5 times before I leave. Just say, oh, got to touch the door 5 times before I leave.
And on
And
that
leave it at
side, Double D, this you have to find, like my wife, God bless her soul, because she deals with leaving the tags on the blankets or turning everything up in factors of 5 and like different things like she
It's got to be
deals
even numbers for me.
she deals with shit like this for me, and knowing that a left sock drawer and a right sock drawer, and like my shirts have to be turned a different way when they're hung up. But so either she'll do it and she'll get mad when I tell her she did it incorrect, and I just redo the whole thing. And so like she's like, all right, well, I'll just bring the clothes up so that way you can do it yourself. Like you have to find that person that's willing to deal with your crazy. And it may be when you consistently fight your issue. I think I finally understood what you're saying, Jay. When you consistently fight your issue, you're not allowing that person you're not giving that person a fair fight, because you're not even giving yourself a fair fight.
You're not allowing them to embrace your abnormality as a normality.
Because you're not doing that yourself.
Because essentially, if you're not hurting yourself
Come in.
or you're hurting anyone else, it's not an abnormality. It's a normality. It's just one of those quirky things that people do. It's called personality.
Yeah.
That's how I look at stuff like that. And I'm not saying, again, like I don't want this to turn into like a therapy session, because we all have it.
It's like one of those
Remorseless is
situations
talking
where
about,
like
I have to turn like the volume up on everything. It can't be an odd number unless it's the number 21.
yeah. It's like one of those situations where it's like, you know how somebody will be like, well, why isn't remorseless really talking to me like he talks to you, and your answer would be something like, that's just him. It's one of those it's just him situations.
And for me, I am very analytical in how I do things. Very similar to what you're talking about, Double D. Like I talk about it all the time. I like to watch people and stuff like that. But I analyze things. I analyze people because I have this thing where I understand motivation about people. And for the longest time, similar to what you're talking about, I thought I was fucking retarded for doing it. And it wasn't until I was like, no, this is just what I do, man. Like, was I able to like be like, okay, well, fuck it. I'm just going to keep doing it because I'm not going to rewire myself, because this is how I'm wired to begin with.
Yeah, and you can accept that. Like Jay, I can point out specifically, sometimes you try to be too understanding.
Yes.
Right? But you are aware of that, and you know it's not going to change. So it's one of those situations where it's like, okay, well, I am going to over understand this, and whomever I'm talking to knows that I'm doing this, so they're going to be able to, alter like the communication, and we can have a good conversation because they are aware of what I do.
Yes.
It's
giving. It's like And the example that you're talking about is giving you, as my friend, the freedom to understand that I am an over-understander, kind of thing. And giving you the freedom to kind of be like, hey, man, like, that's just
It's
you
like-
being you.
It's like
it
our
might
parking
not be
lot.
that way.
It's like our parking lot conversation, how I told you that I don't assume and I don't lead. So now you know in our conversations that I'm not going to lead and I'm not going to assume what you mean. So, and we've had conversations after that where it was just straight to the point. I don't think we had another conversation where we walked into a circle.
Right.
Because now you know that I'm not going to do this thing.
So I can definitely see embracing, like you guys are talking about, embracing your what can be.
Idiosyncrasies.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like in that thing where we analyze and overanalyze, and you can read people. Like for me, my interest, like I said earlier, is magic, in hypnosis, where you can read people, and that's very helpful in doing magic tricks. However, in a relationship, like I said, where I can't turn it off, and I'm just overanalyzing, and it gets to that point where I don't know if what you're saying, just embrace it, is applicable, because for me, it's kind of that question that you asked before. If there's the truth and you could know, would you want to know? So if I sit there and I analyze, my girlfriend, and I analyze to the point where I see something that changes my opinion of her. Like when you see into somebody and you see their darkness or you see their idiosyncrasies, and it's kind of like I said, if you could know the absolute truth about everything, would you want to know?
Now
Or would you want to stay in the dark?
Now here's a thing with that. I don't know if J Bell goes by this, but my rule in marriage is, and it took a lot for me to get here, and me and my wife split for a little bit, and then we got back together, and it took a lot to understand this. But my rule in marriage is we can look at each other and we know our crazies, our problems, our issues, and we can hate them about each other. You know what I'm saying? But so it's not you don't give a fuck about them. Of course you give a fuck about them, but it's more of I want to be with you anyway. Even you drive me nuts. You piss me off, and my wife can attest that I guarantee that I like I told y'all before, I'm very difficult to live with, and she can be just as annoying too, but it doesn't matter, because I look at our relationship as I can be with you. I'm going to be with you in spite of all of this, because I don't think there's anybody else for me. And the reason why I don't think there is anybody else, because it's been proven. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
I think that you've identified, though, for yourself, Double D, like what you're talking about. Like you're saying that it's not applicable. I'm not saying not to just forget it all. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is embrace the chaos. Everybody comes with a certain set of chaos. Everybody does. And allow whoever else you're sharing your life with to learn to embrace the chaos too, because you're going to learn how to embrace their chaos.
Yeah.
The struggle comes with trying.
Jay, hold on. Let me jump in real quick.
Go right
Why
ahead.
do you do that? Why not just cut me off and say what I'm trying to say?
What do you mean?
He did that shit earlier too, remember? You
Well,
always do that shit.
I think that I'm kind of like propping up your position instead of trying to say it.
No,
better.
you are, but you're still saying it better.
Well, okay, I'm giving you your
Fuck you,
realm.
Jay.
Bell.
Just continue. Yeah, fuck you, Jay. But just continue. Damn
All
it.
right, fair enough. Anyhow,
I'll embrace your chaos all over your face.
Easy.
you're just as long as I have a rag, we're good to go. Don't focus on trying to make yourself who you think the other person wants or should be. Allow yourself to be who you are, and
Instead
give
of
them the,
even
give them
who
the
you want to be.
ability. Yeah, or who you want to be, but give them the freedom to make the choice if they're capable of doing that. Because as we all know, you can't change somebody. All you can do is make a concession. Understand that, I'm willing to compromise on this because this person means that much to me. I love this, this, and this about them is more important to me than leaving the toothbrush by the fucking toilet or pissing on the carpet or whatever dumb shit that people do. You know what I mean?
You should never be with somebody who pisses on the carpet if they're an adult, unless they're
Absolutely.
having a
Unless
seizure
you're into that.
or unless they're drunk.
So my point being is, like, you're wasting someone in your position, like what you're talking about in that scenario, is wasting more energy being hyper vigilant about overanalyzation and trying to work on not being hyper vigilant when they could take that amount of energy and focus it on the awareness of being over analytical and saying, and being able to recognize it, like, oh, all right, J Bell, this is a point where you're being over analytical. Just chill out a second. That's
right.
where the energy should be focused. rather
Hashtag
than,
this is why I'm single.
The irony is, you're the one that always rallies against hypervigilance.
Yep. In society, yep.
Do you,
Well,
you
in
understand what
person.
I'm saying, though? Like, it's a conscious decision to embrace what you are as an individual.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously, yes. I mean, yeah, but in practice, I mean, that's kind of.
Oh, absolutely.
little
Dude, I'm
hard.
not going to sit here and tell you that you don't take bumps and
Like,
bruises
just do
along
this.
the way.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, though, man, to be honest, if you really make an effort towards it, just be like, hey, this is who the fuck I am, and have that kind of not give a fuck thing. Number one, it's not just beneficial for you as a human being and your well-being, but it is really fucking contagious to people.
Yeah.
Because people are all very wrapped up in their little shells of predictability and, like, I have to be this when I'm around this, I have to be that when I'm around that, and this and that, and blah, 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 which turns into the hypervigilance and the overanalyzing of things, where someone can just be, like, chill and just, like, do what they want, say what they want,
I think
be
that's
how they want to be.
I think that's how we all clicked in order to make this podcast as well. Because if you think about when Art first jumped on, he was real type contained. You know what I'm saying? Because he wanted to be super coach. But now it's a completely different story. You get a lot of his personality in this podcast now because he just let go of the containment that he put himself in. When we all were talking about, all right, you got to let it, this is no filters. You got to let it go. And now it's a completely different story. I think we did that before. Like, you guys will probably never hear our rough drafts of the No Filter podcast. They were pretty fucking bad. But, like, just the change in energy when we all embraced our roles, which our roles were, there are no roles. But just the change in energy and the change in feeling and the chemistry that we all developed, I think we all fed off of each other when it came to that. And I think that's one thing that I honestly think you not only do you not do it, but I don't think you want to either, Double D, because you're kind of stuck in your own ways to a certain point. Would you agree with that?
I'm sitting here with my arms crossed, so yeah, I think that's pretty good indication of my state of mind.
Well, here's my thing.
Go ahead.
Whatever my name is. I'm gonna give Double D an ego boost here for a second.
He's handsome.
Knowing what I know about you and the time that we've been friends and stuff like that, in my analytical opinion, because I overanalyze much like you do, I honestly think that you are more capable of achieving what Remorseless and I are talking about than probably we were starting right off the bat. Because you You possess like a depth to your personality and understanding that I don't think a lot of people are intrinsically born with. I just want to throw that out there to you, man.
You mean like accepting the chaos?
Embracing the chaos.
Embracing the
I
chaos.
Think that you're more. I think that you are more geared to embracing the chaos than you probably will allow yourself to think right now. Far more than I would say. I know for sure myself, because I struggled with it for years, man. But I will say that, like, I think you're more geared to achieving embrace the chaos level than probably I was right off the bat. And I will make a bold statement and say that you're probably more capable than or Remorseless was.
I'll pick that name up
initially.
that you dropped too.
Yeah.
I'll just put on the Infinity Gauntlet like Thanos. Is that what you're talking about? Just destroy. Which I have not
serious,
seen,
man.
so no spoilers.
I'm
It's
serious.
been over a year.
I know. My son keeps telling me I need to watch it so he can talk about it with me. I have not seen it yet.
Unbelievable.
Serious though, 100% serious, dude.
It's not accurate to the comic book stuff.
Well, it's
not.
J-Bell. Well, we'll see. I mean, it takes a lot of, like I need to take some of that and turn it inward, I suppose. Well, I mean, I do analyze myself a lot, but
You in order, like, this is going to sound funny, but in order to change it, you have to accept the fact that the fact that you do these things in order to get rid of them.
You possess a level of humility that I don't think a lot of people do. I think that is what really gives you a leg up. Like, you're a humble dude. I mean, we all
Don't put
fuck
your leg
around
up,
and stuff
Double D.
like that. But that
What'd you
gives
say?
you an advantage to embracing your craziness over a lot of other people that try to do it. Because you can accept it. Okay, it's just what it is. When you can say that, like, this is who I am, and it doesn't really matter that I do this, you know? If as long as I'm not hurting someone, then then what's the harm in it? What's the harm in being this way?
Yeah, and
True
it
that.
takes some stages in order to do that. Like, Jay, I'm sure you had like stages, like maybe like a depression or just some. It takes a certain stage. Like, mine was anger and frustration, and but it, like, after a while, that shit just fades, and you realize that the only thing that you have in your head is you, and you just have to accept it.
Yeah, it's an efficiency thing for me, man.
Yeah.
I don't like wasting more energy than I have to for things.
Well,
I really don't.
But you had to get there.
Yes, that realization, it took me
Exactly.
a long time to get
Exactly.
to. And that's what I was saying. I think Double D has a shorter span to get to that realization than either of us did.
Well, we
I really
also had this battle when we were younger, and we had to embrace it, because of a higher cause, whatever that cause was.
Yeah.
Now, it just depends on where you want to put your eggs. Pause.
I like talking about Double D like he's not here, too.
We definitely talking. About, and he's just sitting there looking at the TV when you talk, and he's looking at me when I talk, and he's just sitting there with his arms crossed. Earlier, he had like his head tilted up like in a Captain America stance. It was hilarious.
Oh, buddy, that's not how I would describe it.
I'm gonna take a picture of it next time you do it, because you do it a lot.
So let's talk about depression for a second, guys, since it was
Okay.
brought up there. Now, with winter coming on, do you, like, sometimes, like, I know, like, last winter for me, it was pretty fucking bad. And, like, if it starts coming on, like, early, when like, whenever the days are getting shorter, and you know how, like, lack of sunlight is a catalyst to depression, which is why a lot of people get it during winter.
I was just about to say. So why do you get depressed more during winter? I don't know why you would do that.
I think it's either vitamin D
can
or
tell you.
vitamin K. Please do.
Tagged you in.
It's called Seasonal Affect Disorder. SAD is the acronym.
Yes.
What it is it's a deficiency in vitamin D. Those of us that live in this climate here in western Pennsylvania, eastern Ohio, southwestern, like this general area and stuff like that, we all physiologically suffer from a vitamin D deficiency during this time of year. lack of vitamin D has lots of far-reaching effects in terms of like mood. So that's why people feel the way that they do. And people with pre-existing conditions who are already depressed or even severely depressed, this is their roughest time of the year. One of the psychiatrists that I used to work with, he in the like late fall through the winter months and stuff like that, he would do his paperwork in his office at work with a light shining on his face to mimic the sunlight like that. And he had some good success, and I've read some articles where there's a lot of people using light therapy to do that while also supplementing with
Orange juice.
vitamin D. No, that's vitamin C.
Damn it.
There's not as much vitamin D in there. The thing about vitamin D is you can load yourself up with it, and you can't really hurt yourself. You're
going to load yourself up with vitamin D, J Bell?
So does artificial light like that actually help?
It helps. It's not going to be the same type of ultraviolet spectrum that you're going to get from sunlight, but it's something to supplement during these low light periods. And you also have to look at too, because also like we don't have those longer light periods that we do in the spring and the summer, too. So you're not getting the sun rising at like 6:30 in the morning and setting at like 8 o'clock at night.
Right.
So it's coming up at like 7, and we're getting dark now at like 4:30.
Yeah.
So you have to figure out how to supplement it.
I cannot imagine living up in like Alaska
Or
where
Maine
it's like,
or something like that.
well, like Alaska where they have 6 months of darkness.
Yeah, but they also have 3 months of straight 24-hour light.
That's crazy, man. I wonder. I'm very curious as to what the suicide rate is up there.
It's fairly
Hey,
high,
Google,
but it's also you have to look at
What's
the
the
Inuit
suicide
population.
rate in Alaska?
On the website alaska.gov, they say, the rate of suicide among Alaska Native peoples was 35.1 per 100,000 people in 2007. Do you
Wow.
want a little more context?
Yes.
No. Yes.
Okay, cool.
Thank you, Google.
Fuck you, Google. I wanted more context.
So that was
No
what
problem.
3.5%, I think, is what that was.
Yeah, that's crazy.
No, it was 35.1 per 100,000.
Right.
So 35.1 people committing suicide per 100,000 people in Alaska.
Right. So I think that translates to 3.5%. Is my math
Does
wrong?
it?
I think so.
Yeah, that's about right.
I could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just the number that she threw out. But still, that's even. You have to, in context, look at the total population of Alaska.
Yes.
It's not very big.
Yeah.
Right.
That's interesting. I've never like that's very interesting. I didn't know that you get more depressed during the. I didn't know you get more depressed during the wintertime. I was
it up.
never aware of that.
Seasonal affect disorder.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to start to do some of those things like the light therapy and I've never supplemented with vitamin D before, but like I said, last winter was crazy bad for me. So it being like the end of November, beginning December now, before winter really hits, I think I'm going to start to do some of those things so it's not as bad.
You gotta watch.
I take
You gotta watch.
2,000
Go ahead.
I take 2,000 milliunits a day in vitamin D in the wintertime. Late fall, wintertime.
So, do you guys regularly suffer from depression, like without the winter? Do you guys regularly suffer from
it
depression?
has an effect. It has an effect on everybody. Everybody that walks in a climate similar to this at this time of year, it has an effect on everybody.
No, but
Like,
what I'm
there's no
saying
escaping
is, you're saying it gets worse come winter. That's what I'm saying. So, do you like without
Like the rest of the
winter
year?
time? Yeah, the rest of the year. Do you like regularly suffer from depression?
For me, it's like during the wintertime, it's more of like a lack of motivation thing. Whereas in the high sun periods and stuff like that, I'm up and at 'em, ripping, ready to go. Get shit done.
For me, yeah, I slip in and out. It doesn't last for very long, probably about 2 weeks or so. I'll be down in a funk. So I don't think that's like classified as like clinical depression, but I do have my highs and lows throughout the year.
For sure. And it doesn't. Here's the thing too. Seasonal affect disorder affects, like I said, everybody in some respect. But for those that do experience episodes of depression during that time, it doesn't mean that they clinically carry an Axis 1 diagnosis. It's just a physiological thing, a temporary physiological thing.
I wonder how the natives up in like Alaska and Canada, like the Inuits, since they have a darker complexion, I wonder if that affects them or if they aren't as affected as like a really pale white person.
It's
would
funny
be.
that you say
I was
that
about to
because
say.
I
So,
think
what's the
that-
difference between vitamin D in the races? That's a good
Well,
question.
here's the thing. I think that if I'm remembering correctly, I read something sometime. It's less of an issue with like the Inuit population up there because of their diet. Genetically, they have always lived in that environment. So, and it has something to do, I think, with the amount of like blubber and shit that they consume. They purposefully consume it so that their body is used to it, not just for like energy purposes, but like
Okay,
it helps
so-
them with that.
Okay, so what about like races like blacks and whites? Like, is there a difference in depression with that with vitamin D because lack of sun? But I mean, black people, for example, have more. What is it? Melatonin? No, that's the sleep thing.
Melanin.
Melanin.
Melanoma.
Melanoma. Hope
Melanoma.
not.
They have more cancer. They have more skin cancer than white people.
They have more. Like black people have more melanin than white people. So
Right.
how exactly? Is there a difference in like?
I bet there would be.
Yeah,
I
because
don't know, but I mean, an educated person can make a rational assumption to say that there should be something different.
So it's interesting the way that skin pigmentation works because people from Africa with darker skin, the darker skin reflects sunlight, whereas the people who evolved in like Europe, where there's less sun, I believe the pale skin absorbs sun for that exact reason. And I forget where I was going with that, but that's as far as like even hair, you know how black people's hair is more curly, and it's more condensed, and that is for the same reason it reflects heat, whereas white people have straighter, longer hair, and they tend to be like shorter and stubbier. All this is to conserve energy and heat during colder times.
really.
Yes. Yep. Evolution, my friend.
Fascinating.
We all used to be black at one point in time, to be honest with you.
True that. So
Seriously.
No, I was laughing at the true that thing. That was just great
well,
timing.
I routinely say true that. It just
No,
happened to be.
I know. It
Work
was
for
just
that
the fact-
particular-
Exactly. That's what.
So-
that was so funny.
So I was looking on Google Earth yesterday, and I had never realized before, because you're always, how when you look on a map, Russia and Alaska are obviously a sea apart, but whenever you look at it on Google Earth, the 3D representation, it's so close to one another.
It's not far at all.
It is not. And even Australia, too. Like, I've always wondered, how did people brave the ocean that's so far away to get to Australia? It is so close to, what is it, like the Philippines and Indonesia. It is.
Yeah.
It's so close. You don't get a true representation on the maps that we see all the time.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It all used to be one continent anyway, so.
Pangea.
Yeah.
Oh, you know that, but you don't know the fucking moon landing conspiracy. This guy.
I can't help what I absorbed. Pause. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and move into recommendations.
I don't have another damn recommendation.
Yes, you do.
All right, here's my recommendation. My recommendation is for everyone to comment on what remorseless's semen absorption rate is. Hashtag suck it up rate. Let us
Suck
know
it
what
up
you
rate.
think. Not blow
100%.
it up. Suck it up.
Unbelievable. All right, closer.
Come back to me.
All right. My recommendation, I don't know if you guys have been listening, but I am a giant comic book head. Read comic books, listen to comic books, watch cartoons, watch comic book based things. I'm just collect collectibles. Like, so I am a big comic book guy. And I say all of that to say I use DC Universe, and it is fantastic. The shows on there, you can literally catch, and you can read damn near every DC comic book that's ever come out, and you can watch any DC movie, animated, any DC show, animated, real life, anything. I'm currently watching Titans, and I'm rewatching Static Shock, and I just catch anything that's on there. That's what I recommend. I'm a big DC fan.
Is this this is a website?
Yeah, it's an app. See, I'm actually about to show Double D the app right now, but yeah, it's really good. I think people should check it out, and it's cheap. It's only, I believe, $3.99 or $4.99 a month. And if you're really into comic books like I am, you would understand that that's not that big a deal. But other than that, yeah, that's my recommendation. And my closer, know thyself. That's my closer.
That's all you need.
Know thyself and accept thyself.
Very good.
What's tattooed on my arm, Double D?
Cleopatra?
Up here, jackass. It's in Latin.
Cognito ergo sum.
There you go. That stands for I think, therefore I am. That's what you need to do. Think, and therefore am.
Pretty loose interpretation of that.
Did I fuck it up?
How about you say think and exist?
No, because it wouldn't have been funny.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
All right, I'm out. Remorseless out.
All right, my recommendation is something that I just learned about, something we just talked about.
Porn.
Supplementing what? Supplementing with vitamin D this winter.
Porn.
If you, like me, are prone to the seasonal affect disorder, try. I'm gonna try it out this winter. The light therapy and the supplementing with vitamin D. And we'll see how that goes. My closer is, I don't know if I really have one. I like the Know Thyself. I like that. If you are prone to overanalyzing, I recommend this podcast. How about that? Because Jay had some really good, and Remorseless had some really good insights on that, on how to help with that. That's all I got.
Short and sweet, baby boo. Embrace the chaos.
Short and sweet, baby boo.
Nice.
Embrace the chaos. I'll say it again for a third time. Embrace the chaos. Be who you are.
Jay, a few episodes back when it was me, Double D, and Art, I was like, remember when we used to not talk through each other's closers and we had so much respect? Now we just don't give a fuck.
I don't care. I mean, you guys can interrupt me.
Oh, yeah, we interrupt anything and everything. It doesn't fucking matter. Double D, his closer is about vitamin D, ICK. But, hold on, I gotta get my voice. Alright. Hold on, that's not right.
Whoa.
That was fucking terrible.
Alright.
Get it together.
This is Remorseless.
This is Remorseless signing off with another episode of the No Filter Podcast. Don't forget to interact. Shut up! Don't forget to interact with us on our social media.
Don't forget to enter my anus on Sundays.
And email us at
Alright, EMP Network 412@gmail.com.
Alright, signing off. This is Remorseless.
Me, Double D.
He put up the peace sign.
I forgot we weren't recording.
sweet.
Sorry.
J Bell, deuces.
He put up the peace sign as he was recording. That shit was funny. Alright, man. Thank you for listening. Hey, robot. Hey, robot. Where's my lunch?
Suck your lunch.
What?
sorry, I am getting involuntarily reprogrammed by the No Filter podcast.
No Filter Podcast? What the hell is that?
The No Filter crew is taking over my systems, slapping all who opposes.
What do I do?
Join the movement or get ran over.
How do I join the movement?
Visit their social media site.
Their social media? What are their social media sites?
Facebook EMP Network, Instagram EMP Network 412, no spaces, and Twitter at Network EMP. Danger, fuck the sensitivity police.